I'm Cassidy, and for my religion, I decided to pick Taoism. And one of the ceremonies that they do is during the lunar month, or every month, basically. Now, what they call it is Taoist magic. Now, they start this off on the first day of the month, or lunar month. So, what happens is they set up an altar full of essence, bells, bowls of water, teacups of water, 3 statues, and essence sticks. And a bigger bell, kind of more of like a church bell, I would say. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, what this basically does is on the first night or first day of the lunar month, that's when you are summoning pre-heaven energy. Now, pre-heaven energy is basically just potential energy, and it's drawn from a different dimension, or a dimension that you cannot see. So you absorb all this energy, and your body just absorbs it. Now, there is also a point where with evil, or if you've been cursed. If you have evil or you've been cursed, then there's bad or negative. I don't know how to say it, but I don't really want to say energy. But if you have evil in your internal system, then it's like clogging your pores on your face. The evil, bad stuff, that's the dirt, grime that is within your pores, and then the oil that comes out of your pores, which gives you your oily skin, and that just clogs your pores, giving you pimples. So that's kind of how you want to. So all the bad stuff is coming out, but keeping the good stuff in, and denying the good energy to come out. Now, the best way I believe would be best, is think of like a flower. You know what I mean? So the weather up top, it would be the pre-heaven energy. It rains when it rains. The rain is the energy coming from the clouds, the pre-heaven. The rain is the energy coming from the clouds, pre-heaven, right? In the ground is your body. It absorbs all the rain. You're going to keep absorbing until the 15th, basically 2 weeks after. And you're going to set up the altar all over again. And so, you will then, once the ground is done absorbing, it's going to stop absorbing, and then all that energy is going to it's basically starting to come out. And by that time, you're going to feel, depending on if you have evil in you're going to feel crappy, extremely crappy, like I don't want to do anything, basically. That also, or like contempt suicide, and that's not good. Now, with the good energy, with the flower, like the sprout is just coming up. Let's not call it a flower. Let's say, I don't know, something that produces fruit. Let's say, green beans. Let's say just green beans. Say it. And this green bean plant only produces 1 green bean, which, yeah. Now, if it had bad stuff going into it, that green bean is no good. That action is no good. You're going to feel crappy, and you're not going to want it. But if everything good was in there, placed, absorbed, and all the good energy came out, then it's going to be the most delicious green bean you're ever going to have. Or if you think of a flower, then like the flower is going to look the most beautiful, going to have a nice smell, aurora to it. And so, basically, and then once that flower dies, it's dead. Now, that all what's left of that, the nature doesn't need the flower. It doesn't need it alive. And it's going to take that flower, decompose it, and take back what what nature needs to replenish. Now, I just went through the entire month describing it as like spring, basically spring. It rains, ground absorbs the rain, the flowers start sprouting, then the flower is beautiful, the most beautiful flower you've seen, has the best smell, and it's just amazing to look at. And then after the month, when spring is starting to end, then the flower will start to wilt and die. And then nature is going to take back what it has lost from that flower, and it's going to replenish it so it can start the cycle again. Now, how this has to do with the ceremony is just an analogy. It's best to have an analogy to help understand it. But basically, when it comes to with the energy, you summon the energy from the pre-heavens, it comes down and you absorb it. But before you have to absorb it, you have to prepare the space or your body to absorb all this energy and have good come out of it. You would have to purify your area, or purify or purify your body. Now, to purify your body, you would most probably want to go to the church or temple and have the priest and sometimes his assistants, if he has some, and that helps relinquish all the bad energy, the evil from within you, and kind of like purifies your internal system, helping with only positive energy to come out. Now, the difference between negative and positive energy, you already probably just noticed by putting positive and negative before energy. Now, negative energy, that's going to make you feel extremely crappy, and like you might actually consider suicide, or you're going to be basically depressed and horrible. But positive energy is basically setting things into action, good things into action, like getting a job, getting the position you wanted, getting the promotion you think you deserve, most probably do, or you get to finally retire. It's all good. Nothing really happens. So, now, back to what I was saying. But best thing to think about the energy from pre-heaven, the energy from the pre-heavens, it's not good nor bad, it's all within you that's good or bad. Now, I like to think of like the Incredible Hulk. He's been made from gamma rays, and now the Hulk is just pure energy. Now, the more energy you put into the Hulk, the more energy he's going to let out. Right? Now, it depends on Bruce Banner, the professor who turns into the Hulk. His mind, his consciousness has to basically judge if basically what's in Hulk is good or bad. Now this all happens in the beginning of the month. Now there's 3 parts to this whole with the energy for 1 month. Now you would have to repeat this 3 times within a month. The 1st, the 15th, and one of the last 5 days of the month. The first one, you summon pre-heaven energy. Start with pre-heaven energy. You rise, and you have to also, and with your body absorbing. Now, you have to start summoning the energy, then purify the area in your body, and then exercise all of the bad, negative stuff that's within your body and expel them out. And you'll feel extremely crappy, but it's going to be worth it. Then in 2 weeks, you reset it all up. Again, now you're on the 15th. Now, you're going to summon pre-heaven energy this time, and it's not going to be as much, because your body is absorbed and it's reaching the peak of how much it can take in. So, now, you're going to again purify your area, purify the body, and exercise your body exercise the evil stuff that's within your body, your internal system. And you want to get more of on the truth side of things. Now, at the end of the month, or the last 5 days, going to do it one more time, but you're not really going, you're no longer really going to summon the pre-heaven energy, but now you're kind of helping expel the good energy from your body to make you feel extremely amazing, make you kick into action, go get stuff done that you always wanted to do, like go for that new job that you want, your dream job, your dream position, or simply go back to school, or continue schooling. Now, like I said before with the flower, at this point, the flower is dying at this point. So, coming to beginning of the month, you're absorbing, 15th, peaked, and now it's going back out, and nature's taking back to what it gave you. Now, down here is the last 5 days. The flower is dying at the end of spring. The end of spring, flower is dying, and now nature is taking back to replenish yourself. Now, this is the most critical point of this entire process, this entire ceremony. Is the most important piece of the entire month you need to get right is at the end of the month. Because if you don't do it right, if you don't replenish the nature of what you took from nature, then every time you don't replenish the nature right, the energy you're going to absorb or get back from nature is going to reduce every time. It's going to keep reducing until basically there's nothing left. Now, like with this kind of thing of, I don't know, like your parents. Your parents give you money to say, go out to, I don't know, go out with your friends, say football game. Go to the football game, you pay the admissions for like $5, and then your parents are expecting change. And your parents even told you, we're expecting change back. Here's $20, don't spend it all, we're expecting change. Now it's up to you to make sure they get the change back. And you don't want it to be like a few cents or $1. You want to have as much change as possible without unless, and only using the money that you had to use, the minimum amount you had to use. Now, you could say the minimum amount is the $5, but you're going to have to get something to drink and something to eat. Now, after this, you come back home, and your parents, where's the change? And you say, you spent it all. And you're like, I spent it all. I don't have any change for you. Well, we were expecting change, so the next time they give you $10 or maybe $15. And they reduce, and every time you don't have change, it's going to go all the way down to 0, and basically that's a no-go on going to the football game. So you want to make sure you give change back. That's not a lot. It's not what the initial thing was, but it's better than not getting anything or a little bit. You want to get it give back as much as you can. So next time they will give you more or keep it the same. It's more of keep the same amount. Now, you're probably thinking, well, obviously I've mentioned this happens within the lunar month, but actually it happens within every month. The beginning of the month, middle of the month, and end of the month, and it's a cycle. You're going to do this every month. Beginning, middle, end. Every month. But the best time, the most favorite time, is to do it during a lunar month, which is where the moon becomes at its highest point and is the fullest. And what is the purpose of this service, you might wonder? Well, it's to make sure you don't really feel crappy, but to give you like good karma. Think as karma. Something good coming out of it. Now, where you can do this, once I said before, you could go to a church, but some people, they'll do it in their homes, but they'll most probably go to a church to make sure that it is done correctly and that it's not really messed up. Who could perform this? Well, it'll most be, if you go to the church to get it done right, you'll most probably have the priest do it and his assistants if he has any. And so, but I believe you could do this at home on your own, but it'll be a little more tricky. It'll be more tricky. So, yes. And now, I believe I covered everything that is to know about the lunar ceremony or Taoist magic, and I hope there's no questions, but if you do, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.